If I can't keep my head held high enough, I'll just speak love and watch the smiles come, bring my spirits up. There's some shit I like to fix, but I still know that I'm blessed.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my coverage of the Kristen Smart trial. We're back in Salinas, California at the Monterey County Courthouse, and it's the big day, March 10th, 2023. I woke up ready for all the expected good news. I'm expecting, number one, that they're going to deny all of Singer's motions, and number two, he's going to get a life sentence without parole. But realistically, I think all the motions will be denied for sure, and that Judge O'Keefe will sentence him to 25 years, which usually ends up being less time once good behavior and other credits and time served and all that gets applied. But we'll see. And no news came out until after 10:30 this morning because I kept checking and checking. But once it came out, it started out encouraging. First of all, it felt great to reconnect with Chris Lambert via Twitter. He took some time away from the case in between the guilty verdict and sentencing. You all know he's my preferred resource for Kristen's case. Boy, has he already delivered today, right out of the gate, even before any rulings or anything else. So let's get into it. This is all a long time coming. We all know it's been a wait of over 26 years. Chris Lambert came on board in 2019, and the slow sheriff calls Chris a reliable partner. He says that people would share more information with Chris than law enforcement, allowing law enforcement to acquire more information via Chris. We've all been following this case, and we know Paul has been found guilty. He walked Kristen to his dorm instead of his own, from the evidence, and raped or attempted to rape her. Then he killed her, according to the prosecution, and the jury agreed. We know Paul lied, and lied some more. He continues to lie to this day. Remember how the cadaver dogs hid on his mattress in his dorm room at Cal Poly? We're reminded how Paul's father, Reuben, kept Kristen trophies in his bedroom, consisting of newspaper articles, flyers, and more about the case. And we certainly can't forget that Kristen is still missing to this day. So back to today's proceedings. It should have started by 9, but it's been delayed, which I'll explain shortly. And here's a whopper. Judge O'Keefe has granted the request by KSBY News and other media outlets for audio and video recording at the sentencing. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait. It won't be live streamed, but local media and our hero Chris Lambert will be there and keep us in the loop. Only the sentencing will be filmed, not the motions for new trial hearing, etc. It looks like KSBY will operate the pool camera and then share the footage after. It was obvious I wasn't the only one growing impatient when I kept checking and there was no word on what was going on in court today. These comments make sense to me, and later it was revealed there were additional delays for other reasons. These comments express concern that Singer could ramble on the entire day since there's no time limit for him, and about his motions possibly even causing sentencing delays once again. Everyone agrees it would be just like Singer to pull a, quote, stunt like that, end quote. We all hope Judge O'Keefe will rein him in. I miss Chris's humor, too. He says he missed us and the court bathroom. He lets us know we can look forward to him interviewing people who will be released from the gag order soon. Chris and KSBY reveal some of what was going on in the courtroom. First of all, our area is currently being slammed by another atmospheric river storm. Highway 101 near Salinas was actually flooded, and all this caused people to arrive late to the courtroom today. As the morning proceeds, we learn sentencing won't be till 1 p.m., depending on how long-winded Singer is with his motions. Since Singer accuses Chris Prevel of misconduct, Crystal Seiler from the SLO DA's office addressed the court first on his behalf. The judge pointed out that she had carefully reviewed the motions and Singer didn't need to go over each point. Singer still highlighted his concerns. He subpoenaed someone for Friday morning to go over the new cadaver dog information, and Judge O'Keefe said she would not hear from the witness and ordered that the witness be notified that he could leave the courthouse. The prosecution maintains there is no conspiracy, which would have to include 50 people and canines spanning over 26 years. Now Singer says he never suggested an actual conspiracy, only that the prosecution's argument was equivalent to a conspiracy theory. You can see here what Singer said originally, quote, basically a bunch of conspiracy theories, end quote. He also said, quote, conspiracy theories can be fun. We love to hear them. We like to watch shows, and you think, I bet I know what happened. But you're here as jurors. You took an oath that you would follow the rules of law, end quote. Singer insists the ball gag picture was inflammatory and designed to evoke passion and prejudice. The judge did not agree that the bathtub ring in Kristen's temporary grave and the blue star evidence was junk science, as Singer tried to allude. The judge did not agree that David, Jennifer, Jamelin, Steve, Tim, and Rhonda lied on the stand, as Singer also stated. She did not find any new evidence. The judge did not agree that the Does should not have testified that Paul raped them. The judge wouldn't entertain Singer wanting to introduce alternative suspects. One being one of Kristen's exes, the other a supposed stalker of Kristen. Singer also got nowhere with his argument that a psychological evaluation of Kristen should have been allowed as evidence. He also was shut down regarding Kristen not being very close to her own family. Apparently, the dog handler was going to be called to the stand regarding vomit testimony, and the judge actually said, quote, Mr. Singer, I have gone through these motions thoroughly. It is not necessary to go through every detail ad nauseum, end quote. Singer took note and said, quote, ad nauseum? So we have moved past the vomit. That was a terrible joke, end quote. Get it? Good one, Judge. Kristen's family and supporters took up the first 6 rows on the left side of the courtroom. Reuben and Susan were in the front row on the right side. Media sat in row number 2, and 7 of Paul's jurors are in row number 3 with members of the public. 5 of Reuben's jurors are in row number 4. I'm surprised they all made it. We were getting alerts to stay home because of these bad storms. Judge O'Keefe read her summary, which included that there was sufficient evidence to support the conviction and she would deny the request for acquittal. She said the evidence had already been addressed and she denied the request for a new trial. Finally, after 3 p.m., we got word on sentencing. As we know, the judge already denied any motions for retrial, new trial, blah, blah, blah. She didn't go for any of it. I'm wondering if the victim impact statements happened today, and that could take a lot of time, and maybe that's the delay. Okay, guys, get your popcorn again. I read the first sentence only so far, and I already want to high-five Judge O'Keefe, which I know is inappropriate, but I still want to do it. The sentencing is 25 to life, which does not surprise me. She also called Paul a, quote, cancer to society, end quote. She said it was necessary to remove him from society. Before the judge announced sentencing, Chris Prevel asked the judge to give Paul the maximum sentence, called him a psychopath, and that he should never be released. They showed a video of pictures with Kristen, and that must have been tough. Then there was witness impact statements. Kristen's dad went first. He read a letter about how the murder affected the entire family. Then Matt, Kristen's brother, then his wife Lisa, Kristen's cousin Eric, her childhood friend Anne Marie, her sister Lindsay, and her husband. And then at the very end, Kristen's mom, Denise, spoke. Paul will now have to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Upon further research, I discovered the judge told Paul he deserved to spend the rest of his life behind bars. Paul is ineligible for early parole and is required to spend at least 25 years in prison. He's 46 now, plus 25, so he'll be 71 at the earliest possible release date. The judge pointed out his predatory behavior and how it had spanned his adult life. Behaviors such as rape and making his own rape porn videos, plus porn that he had labeled, quote, drugged and raped while passed out, end quote, and, quote, blonde high school girl in skirt gets raped, end quote. Yeah, YouTube's not going to send this video out whatsoever because of these words, but I'm quoting, and it is what it is. Date rape drugs were also found in his house, and he labeled his computer file with himself raping and sodomizing women as, quote, practice, end quote. We finally get to see the home video of Paul mentioned in court, made by the mother at the graduation party.
Hey, Bri, what's up? Hey, I didn't think they were gonna call your name today.
No, they didn't. Everyone kept asking me if I was supposed to be there.
How rude. And how about Paul? Are they gonna call your name at Cal Poly in 4 years?
No way. They'll be calling for court.
Hey, Paul, do you have any information on that missing girl? What'd you do with her? Jeremy, don't you dare throw that cat.
So what do you guys think after you've seen it? Do you think he hangs his head in shame? For me, the answer is no. Also, the 48-minute video with Paul's interview back from 1996 is available from the Slow Tribune if you want to check that whole thing out. It's too long for me to put here. And the Tribune has also released these photos of the different exhibits that we heard about presented in court, and we can see them here. Here's more of the trophies that were being kept. Of course, we know all about the ground-penetrating radar that was used successfully. The trailer where the blue star was, the different stainage in the soil underneath the deck, and digging into that space under the deck. We can see these pictures more clearly now. More under the deck, it looks like. They tore that whole deck off. Oh, yeah, that was the Hem Direct. Blood, little test kits. Measuring everything in her former clandestine grave, as it was referred to during the trial. And remember the striation and the staining, they went into all those details. So quite a few pictures of that. Then we get to Cal Poly, Paul's dorm area, the different buildings there. Oh yeah, that's how the screens would flip up. Theorizing that he opened that to just lift Kristen right on out the window to a waiting vehicle or a vehicle he had possibly borrowed from his sister. They weren't specific. That's how the dorms were back then. More Cal Poly. We've done a walk around there too. Those videos are on the playlist. Bobby spruced up the memorial there at one point because it was in disrepair. I keep looking through the news sources and it's after 9 p.m. and no one has the footage from the court today, not even Chris. He said he had a hard day. He hugged at least 200 people. He set up interviews. He cried. He needed some time alone, and then he'll get back with us. So hopefully someone has the video soon. I'll put it in here as soon as I get it.
A moment nearly 27 years in the making.
Yeah, absolutely, Nina. And in this Selena's courtroom behind me, that sentence was handed down today by Superior Court Judge Jennifer O'Keefe. As most of the days in this court case have been, it was anything but typical. There were many, many late arrivals because of flooding around the courthouse south of Salinas and between Salinas and Monterey. And then we had these motions to deal with. So Paul Flores' attorney, Paul Sanger, had filed a series of motions asking for an acquittal, overturning that conviction, and a new trial. Judge Jennifer O'Keefe heard that motion. She then gave a summary of the evidence was allowed, why she allowed that evidence, and really overruled all of those motions. So when we finally got to the sentencing part of that hearing, which was 1 o'clock this afternoon, of course, the victims have a chance to make an impact statement. It started with a 10-minute video of Kristen's life, and then we heard from her family members, including her mom, Denise.
It is clearly too late for us. But Paul, it is not too late for you to tell the truth, to free your soul and your heart from the weight it must be carrying. You are, after all, a human being. Please look within your heart and consider helping our family through this tragedy.
My reaction is relief that Paul Flores will never hurt another person. Just relief, and that's what I keep coming back to.
Now, many of those family victim impact statements really did focus on that aspect, that they haven't gotten a chance to get Kristen back, to know where she is, to be able to give her a proper burial, and to give her the remembrance that they want to be able to give her. So you heard Denise talking about that. Ultimately, the judge was very, very direct.
I've been able to learn more about the sentencing as we all gain understanding of the legalese and this case. Judge O'Keefe actually did give Paul the maximum sentence she was able to give. She told him he deserved to spend, quote, every day he has left behind bars, end quote. So that's what she would have done if she could have. I thought we could actually see this process with the audio and video, just unedited, the process itself. But so far, this video is as close as we can get. And KSBY was the one with the pool camera, so if they don't have it yet, no one else does, I guess. And it looks like Paul will actually be eligible for parole in 15 frickin' years. So he's 46 now, plus 15, he'll be 61 years old. And that's just not long enough, in my opinion.
Ultimately, the judge was very, very direct, looked directly at Paul Flores and said, called him really a cancer on society for the past 27 years and sentenced him to what she said was the maximum she could under California law, 25 years to life in prison without the possibility of probation. Now, there was a lot of talk about that in court today. Probation would have allowed parole to happen a little bit earlier, so he is eligible for parole. She could not sentence him to life behind bars without parole. So because of that no probation, he will be eligible for parole depending on good behavior and his time in prison in about 15 years.
As always, hashtag find Kristen smart. Bye, Paul.
If I can't keep my head held high enough, I'll just speak love and watch the smiles come.
Thanks for watching.
Bring my spirits up.
Don't forget to stop and smell the flowers.
There's some shit I like to fix, but I still know that I'm blessed.